Mark Red Larson here for the Dreamcatcher podcast. Today, my guest is Rylie Felton. Thanks for joining us. Actually, we're at the Hastings Public Library doing a Friday podcast episode. Thank you for joining us, Rylie. How are you doing today?
Thanks for having me. I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing great. So it's Friday. You gotta almost be Rylie, are you from Hastings originally?
I tell people I'm from Grand Island, but I was actually born in Burlington, Iowa.
Oh, really?
My family did a lot of moving around when I was younger. I was born in Burlington, Iowa, and then we moved to St. Louis, Missouri, where my little sister was born. And then we moved to Sabetha, Kansas.
Wow, okay.
Super tiny town. My little brother was born in Topeka.
Okay.
And we stayed there until I was in the 4th grade, and then the summer before my 5th grade year, we moved to Grand Island. So I spent most of my childhood growing up in Grand Island.
Okay, so not too far away. It's just north of where we're at right now.
Mm-hmm.
So how long have you been in Hastings, Nebraska here?
I started going to college at Hastings College as a full-time student.
Awesome college, yes.
Yeah, I really liked it. In 2018.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, my dad got hired in the marketing department, and so
nice.
I started as a part-time student, got free tuition, and then
that's always nice.
Yeah,
that's always nice
for sure. And then they let my dad go after that semester.
Oh,
yeah,
but that's too bad.
But I felt like I had kind of snuck into Hastings College, so I just stayed and decided to do full-time.
So what did you get your degree in?
I have a BA in English with an emphasis in writing.
Wow. So what did you want to do with your degree? What was the dream there?
I wanted to do writing full time. But that didn't happen. I only took one education class, and so I couldn't be a teacher.
Okay.
But I'm really hoping to go back to school sometime, kind of soon-ish, and get my master's in English.
Wow. So what will that hopefully lead to then?
I'm hoping it will lead to publishing my work. Yeah. I really love writing poetry. I 5th grade was the year that I fell in love with poetry because we did diamond poems.
Oh yeah.
And I loved those. I wrote a lot of those outside of school, and I read them to my mom while she was trying to go to sleep.
So you really did love it. I mean, that's awesome though.
Yeah. Then in high school I discovered slam poetry. Slam poetry is performance poetry. It's competitive. There are competitions at the high school and the college level. In the summer before and after my senior year of high school, I went to slam poetry summer camp,
awesome.
Which was so amazing. I found such a great community of other teenagers who loved writing poetry. And so, yeah, I was hoping to publish stuff. And at the college level, I was hoping to. I tried to start my own poetry group.
I can understand that. Yeah, I think you really love that. I can tell.
Yeah, I did. I hosted an open mic for poetry at the college one time.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was really fun. And so I'm just hoping to do more with poetry, and with a master's in English, I'm hoping to maybe teach at the college level, and just have more chances to publish and get my work critiqued and that sort of thing.
So would you want to stay in this area if you were going to teach at a college, or would you do if Hastings had an opening?
I really like Hastings College, so maybe if they had an opening.
No, I mean,
cool,
if they didn't, were some other places you would consider? Would you like other places in the United States or even in the world?
A lot of poets that I really like seem to gather in the Minneapolis, the Indiana.
Area. Right there. Okay.
So maybe there.
No, I love that. So I mean, you've definitely taken action on all that stuff. So
For sure.
So do you have siblings?
I do. I have a little sister and a little brother.
Do they like poetry?
Not so much. My sisters I've been giving my sister books to read.
Okay.
And so she's been getting back into reading that way. My little brother is working on his master's in physical therapy.
Oh, wow.
So kind of different.
Well, and that's my sister and I are quite different.
Yeah.
So, which is it's good. I mean,
For sure.
everybody has their own personality, but so getting your poetry self-published, would you?
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about publishing like a chapbook soon, like with poetry centered around my car accident, which happened like 10 years ago.
Okay.
This past August 5th.
Okay.
And so just to like commemorate that and have that like chapter closed, because I don't feel any like lingering symptoms besides my knee. I still can't put full weight on my right knee, but other than that, like everything is like wrapped up. And so maybe like
very good,
doing a chapbook to like commemorate that, because I've written a lot about it in the past.
I bet. Yeah, we were just talking about that the other day when we were lining this up.
Mm-hmm.
Tell the audience about what happened to you.
Yeah. So August 5th, 2014, I was in a car accident. It was on the highway just outside of Lincoln, Nebraska.
Okay.
And my driver was like trying to get some medication for her headache out of her like back seat pocket. Mm-hmm. And she was like reaching behind her, and she went into the other lane a little bit and then overcorrected and went over the median into oncoming traffic. Wow. And we got hit going 75 miles an hour. My gosh. My door was the point of impact. They had to use the jaws of life to get me out.
I bet. I can see that.
Yeah, and they
impact.
Yeah, they helicoptered me to a hospital in Lincoln. I had a traumatic brain injury. I broke my right hand and I broke my right leg. I was in a coma for about a week.
Wow.
Part of the coma was an induced coma to get the swelling in my brain down. I
could see that.
And I was in, I'm not sure how long I was in the ICU, but I was in Madonna Rehab Center for like a month and a half.
I can believe that.
Yeah,
I can definitely believe that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what do you know? What vehicle hit you? It wasn't hopefully not a truck.
No, I don't think it was a truck. It might have been like a van. I think there was, if I'm remembering correctly, it was like a mom and
really
some kids in the car, and I think they were okay.
Good.
I got a lot of the injuries. The girl sitting behind me got a concussion. The driver had a few cuts and bruises, and then the girl sitting behind the driver like broke a bone in her back.
Oh, that's not good either. Wow.
Yeah. She had to have metal plating put in, but she was like conscious.
Okay.
And they were worried because she was like a show choir kid. So they were worried about her bouncing back, but she did.
Okay.
She did.
Another blessing there. So.
Yes, for sure.
Wow. It just goes to show how life can change in a split second.
Yeah.
So
it was crazy.
So I mean, after Madonna, how were you after you got out of the rehab and stuff?
After I got out of rehab, I had to do inpatient, or I had to do therapy outside as well.
Okay.
Because when I got out of Madonna, I was still like in a wheelchair.
I can definitely see that. Yes.
I was in a wheelchair, so I was still like learning to walk again, and practicing that. So I had to do physical, occupational, and speech therapy outside of Madonna in Grand Island too.
That's still a lot. How long did you have to do that then?
Oh, it was like, I think a couple months, I want to say. I didn't have to do all of the therapy for as long. I think physical therapy was the longest. But speech and occupational, I got to stop sooner than the
that is good. So
physical.
Like, does your friend feel guilty then for doing that, or does she have any
Um,
guilt on
She
that?
probably does. I don't talk to her anymore.
Oh, don't you? Okay.
No,
I can't imagine. I think I would feel guilt. I mean,
Yeah.
gosh, but it's
Yeah,
one of those things that happens too.
Yeah, she. I started going to therapy after the car accident because I got really depressed and
I can understand
sad
that.
after, and through therapy we came to the conclusion that my friend who got me in the accident was a narcissist.
Oh,
yeah,
that's not ever good.
When the defining moment for me reflecting that she was on the narcissist in like a narcissist was when I told her that I wished I didn't make it. I told her that I wished I had died in the accident. Her first response was, "Rylie, you know what that would do to me."
To her?
To her.
Oh my gosh, she really was.
Yeah, and me being like being her friend for a long time and being very like empathetic.
Yeah.
I was like, of course, in my head I was like, of course, I should have thought how that would affect her. But
I mean,
for that to be her first response,
yeah, that says it all.
Really telling.
It's like, oh my gosh. I mean, well, maybe it's a good thing that you're not.
I think it's a good thing that I'm not friends with her anymore.
I've known a few narcissists, and that sounds exactly like you say. I mean, wow. I mean, that just.
Yeah.
Oh, so are you? I mean, are you more appreciative of life, or did it change that?
Mm-hmm.
I would think that maybe so. So you said you were depressed after that, which I can understand.
Right.
I mean, you seem very upbeat now and very happy with life.
Yeah,
how did you go from being depressed to today?
Lots of therapy.
Oh, well, that's good.
I was really lucky that we were able to afford therapy, and the first therapist that my dad found for me was a really great fit. I still talk to her.
Really? Okay.
And see her on the occasion when I'm going through something that I need help navigating.
Do you ever have like nightmares on that day, or is it anything like that ever?
I don't.
That's good.
See, I don't remember the accident at all.
Really? Okay.
I don't when I first woke up in the hospital, I thought I was dreaming. I thought I was in a weird hospital dream.
Wow.
And that I should just go back to sleep because then I can wake up and we can go to the concert and have such a great time.
Wow.
But then I kept waking up in the hospital.
It's like, this is not going away.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, I'll just go with this, I guess.
Wow.
I only kind of start remembering things after they pulled the trach out of my throat.
Really? Then? Okay.
Yeah. And because I couldn't talk before then because I had a tube down my throat. And so my dad had his iPad. He was there like the vast majority of the time I was in the hospital. And he gave me his iPad so I could type if I had any questions.
Sure.
Or anything.
Yeah.
And I just kept typing over and over again. What happened? Why am I here? What's going on?
Right.
Because I couldn't remember.
Yeah, I bet.
I couldn't remember what he had told me before. And then when I did start remembering the day of the accident, I could only remember my friend coming to pick us all up. And that's when it ends. I remember going to pick up our friends.
Right.
And then there's nothing. There's nothing after that. And I'm pretty grateful for that.
You know, I think, man, I was just wondering, maybe your brain kind of protecting you from all that.
Yeah.
All that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I mean, my gosh. So do you ever think about helping people that way? Like if you like therapy like you got?
Yeah, at first at Hastings College, I was a double major.
Okay.
I was going to do English and psychology.
Okay.
And then I failed the psychology class. And I was like, we're going to drop this. I think it was like a combination of being like overwhelmed with being a full-time student because I waited like a couple years after graduating high school to start college. I graduated high school in 2016.
Okay.
And I didn't start full-time college until 2018. And so it was just overwhelming. And
I
then
can definitely see that.
the my housing situation changed, and I was put with random people. And so I was going to be rooming with friends, but then that fell through. And so
that's too bad.
And so then I had to, because I didn't want to deal with dorms. I was 21. I didn't have to do dorms.
I hear you.
I could just go to the apartments.
Yes.
And then I was put with random people in the apartments, and I was like, okay.
I don't think I'd like that. I mean,
like I was lucky that I didn't get roomed with anybody terrible.
Well,
but it was still like strangers, and so
and until you never know anybody until you really live with them, and then they really show their. Because I went to school over in Kearney, and it was a couple times because they kept moving me to different floors, and it was like, oh my gosh, I don't ever want to be in the dorms again, because it was, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
One was all right, but the other one was from the West Coast, and he was, I was so ready to get out of the dorms. Yeah. So
I was with a transfer student who was super sweet. We like shared dishes and stuff, but she was like always gone hanging out with friends. And which was great. Love that for her. Yeah. And then there was another girl who I'm still friends with. And she was the one that I would have liked to like have stay at the apartment a lot. Yep. But she was always going back to Grand Island.
Being so close, I suppose.
Yeah. And then the other girl, was also always gone. Like she was a athlete, and so
then traveling to all those events, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So
it was a very lonely.
Yeah, I bet it was. Yeah, everybody was leaving.
Yeah.
So, but
just getting used to living
by
myself in college life.
Yes.
And like, I don't know. I just was not. I don't think I took psychology in high school, so I don't know why I thought I could do it at the college level already.
Well, you didn't know until you tried. I mean, maybe it might have been, perfect.
Yeah.
So.
And I think I should have reached out for help sooner. I think that might have been before they had Hastings College had Studio 200.
Okay.
And so.
So what is Studio 200 then?
Studio 200 is a great place to get outside help.
Really? Okay.
When you're having trouble in classes, like I went to them with help for like writing assignments and thinking through those types of things. They have really great people there to help you.
Okay.
And I think I also had them like help me with my like. I feel like I had them help write my resume.
Okay, that is worth a lot too.
It might have been Career Center though. Career Center is also really great.
No, and that, I mean, it's always good to take advantage of that stuff.
For
I
sure.
mean, that is very much because it's like it shortens the learning curve and all that stuff very much. So
for sure.
So now you work at actually where we're at, the library, Hastings Public Library, which in this area right now, this is like a toy store to me. And I don't ever want to leave this. I mean, the whole library is awesome, and then you also work at Bryant Bookstore.
Yes.
And how long have you worked at either place?
I have worked at the library. It'll be 3 years this October.
Oh, wow, cool.
The only reason I have this job is because of the Career Center at Hastings College.
Was it really? Okay.
Yeah, she sent me a text with like an ad in the paper for a position here at the library. And I started working at Bryant Books this past April.
Neat bookstore.
Yes,
I love that
so
bookstore.
Cool. Love it so much. I just can't stay away from the books. I just love them.
And it's just the vibe. Well, the vibe of both places is really awesome.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've never been to quite a bookstore quite like that. And I've definitely never been to a library like this.
Yeah.
And anybody that's close listening to this, come to Hastings Public Library.
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. I had somebody ask how many of those machines I'd used. Just like, none? Yet.
None yet,
So, no, I want to get that, the studio kind of that going.
For
and then
sure.
I want to be certified on the 3D printers. I mean,
they're so cool.
They'll tell me to go home because I won't ever leave. So, and then my wife Cheryl likes it very much down here too. So okay, when you were growing up, what was your dream? What did you want to be when you grew up?
I did always want to be like an author.
Really?
Yeah,
okay, cool.
I had that dream for a long time. There's like a few notebooks with like starts of like stories.
This is the start.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some people don't even get to that point.
Right.
So, what kind of writing do you like to do besides poetry? We know that, I guess.
Besides poetry, I took a short story writing class in college.
Okay.
That I really enjoyed. That was really fun, just writing about different topics. I also really liked the news writing class that I took.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
That was fun.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was like the start of the pandemic, and so all of the news stories that I wrote were about the pandemic. And one of the stories that I wrote was about how people were like hanging outside of the Grand Island Public Library to get Wi-Fi.
Oh, sure, and that makes I can see that
because all of the school was online, and so
yes, that definitely
they need some
changed
people
a lot of things.
Yeah, some people don't have Wi-Fi at home.
Some people, I mean, which is such a drag. I mean, don't even have really enough food, let alone Wi-Fi. So, because that's one thing I like about the library here, that people can come get a sack lunch here, and and that is awesome. That's another thing. I've never been to any library that's had that.
Yeah, we partnered with Catholic Social Services to provide those.
That is
lunches.
Very good.
Yeah, we get them every Monday.
Because I mean, there's just, and I'm amazed. Hastings is like 25,000 or something like that. How many people I see that are homeless?
Right.
And it's just like, wow, you don't think about that in in central Nebraska.
For sure.
I mean, the cities definitely, but I'm seeing more all the time, and I'm glad that the library does that. So, okay, so what is next? What would you like to be doing in 5 years?
Oh, I hope to be either like getting my master's or have my master's.
Awesome.
And be like teaching and educating. I think like education is really important.
It is.
So even if I'm not like at a college educating, it'd be cool to like do classes like at libraries or like at
I like that idea.
Other places. Yeah.
That's a really cool idea. I like that a lot. So no, that is, I mean, there's so many things opening up to the world. I mean, that just, would you want to do a podcast format?
Maybe, I don't know.
So do you like speaking in front of people?
I was an introvert for the vast majority of my life.
I wouldn't guess that now.
Yeah, it was it's a combination of joining speech in high school.
Okay.
My one of my good friends encouraged me to join the speech team with her, and I did, and it like really.
So it was something that really.
Yeah. Okay. It was really impactful. And then I joined, and then the next year I joined theater.
Cool.
Yeah, it's the speech to theater pipeline. Okay.
So would you want to act like in theater or something like that?
It'd be fun. I've thought about like auditioning for like community theater.
Yeah, that'd be a good place to start there. Yeah. So then you kind of know whether, so, that is so awesome.
Part of it is also the car accident.
Yeah.
Because like I think it's like the brain injury, like, changed that a little bit. Like before the car accident, I was really, pushing my feelings like inside myself. Okay. And not sharing them with anybody because my problems like are gonna make them feel bad. And so I can't share my problems. And then after the car accident, I was just like, I'm really sad. And my friends were like, oh.
I can understand being sad.
Yeah. And like, even like outside of the emotional stuff, it was like I was an introvert being thrown into an extrovert like mindset or like a need to connect with people. And so even now I still might share a little bit too much, but
no, I think that's great though. I mean, and that's interesting that occurred. I mean, that's, I guess, a gift there, from going one to the other. So, I'll probably say I'll see you up on stage. Or would you ever like on Broadway or something like that?
Oh, I can't sing Broadway level.
Okay.
My like I sing a lot, like in the car or
Me too.
in
Yep.
the shower.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like I only did choir in like middle school.
Okay.
I didn't continue with it because I didn't think that my voice was good. But now I kind of regret that because I could have gotten like help or something in school to make my voice better. And so I asked, I think her name is Holly, who works at the like Hastings music.
Oh, really? Okay.
I asked her if she did like adult lessons.
Right.
And she said, yeah, we do. I'll see if we have an opening or something.
Perfect.
That would be so fun.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard anything from her, so they might not have them right now. But
maybe you'll hear from her later today. That's about the time that you just kind of think it's not going to happen, like we were saying earlier. No, you never know where life's going to take you, as you know, very much.
Oh yeah.
So would you ever want to start your own business?
I don't know. I don't know if I want to start my own business. Like, I'm kind of jealous that Nicole has her own bookstore.
Maybe you guys can franchise
it's a book
that.
Lover's dream.
It is. Well, and it's getting so rare that you find bookstores.
Right, independent bookstores.
Yes.
It's really hard.
It is, and that, I mean, what she's doing over there is what I want my bookstore to be like too.
Right.
So,
for sure.
No, it's just when she actually that whole block over there is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Anybody who's never been to Hastings, Nebraska, come downtown. It's awesome.
It's super cool.
Yeah, it's just this whole town has a really awesome vibe.
Yeah,
I mean, it
really does.
I don't know even how to, but I like to come. I'm in Hastings a lot, so I definitely like to come here. So, Rylie, before we end the podcast, is there anything else you would like the audience to know?
Read banned books.
Amen.
Read banned books. Support local business. Support local bookstores.
Yeah. And I mean, how did we get? I'm talking kind of a segue here.
Yeah.
How did we get to be a country where we ban books? I mean,
I don't even know. Like, it doesn't make sense because banning books like takes away your freedom.
It does.
To read, and aren't we a country of freedom?
Yeah, I mean,
we should be free to read whatever we want.
We should. Yeah, it's like, I'm to that point where I'm going to start reading them and just like I'm going to start sharing them. You know, it's just like, well, one way or the other, it's going to get out.
Right.
And I guess I could see a school system maybe picking it, but otherwise,
yeah, if you don't want your kid reading certain books, don't let your kid read those books.
Yes.
Don't disallow it for all kids.
Yes.
For all people who want to read them.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of arrogance to think that they can just, for all of us, they make the decision. It's like, no, I will make that decision whether this is a book that I don't want to read.
Exactly.
I mean, because they might take it differently than I might think it's the best book there ever was.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the stuff are classics that they've been banning. And it's like, oh my gosh, I read some of those in high school and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. There's a lot of things going on that I just, but no, I think that's a great way to end. Read banned books.
Yes.
That's your homework. That's your assignment.
Yes.
So, but on that, thank you for joining us on the Dreamcatcher podcast.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
I look forward to seeing you here at the library and over at Nicole at the Bryant bookstore. And both places are awesome. So, like I said, if you're in Hastings, Nebraska, come visit both of them. You will not want to leave, just like me.
Yeah.
So on that, take care. Have a good rest of your day, and we'll be talking soon.